So very, very happy to see everybody. To speak in a Wednesday Sangha after a long time. I'm sure you all can see me, but at some point, if I can see you also, even if it's for a few minutes or a few seconds, I would really appreciate that. So today's topic, which is determination in Krishna consciousness. Determination in itself is a very, very important aspect of all of us, of all those who call themselves human. Animals do not think about, I need to be determined today to do something. They naturally do what they're supposed to do. It's very hard for them to divert from what their regular routines are. But for humans, we have this free will to do whatever we want, and hence, sometimes we end up doing things which we shouldn't, and we lose the determination to get up and fight the fight again. So before I go into depth of how determination is important, why is determination important, how to become determined, why do we slack in determination? So let me, Ramachandra, if you can share the screen at this point. I've taken some quotes from Srila Prabhupada's letters and then some books as well. So sometimes we can go into the presentation mode, bottom right, bottom left. Sometimes Krishna gives us impossible tasks to accomplish, only to test our determination to serve him. The more determined we are, the easier the task becomes. So if you all can see my screen, if you cannot, that's okay. But if you can, it'll be better, because sometimes it's hard to hear, but it's easier to see what is being read also. So sometimes Krishna gives us impossible tasks. He puts us in very, very difficult, impossible situations. Tasks that we have to accomplish, only to test our determination to serve him. And I'll pretty much focus on related to Krishna consciousness, but that can also be applied in our own personal lives, whatever we are doing in our own small little world, as a grihastha, as a family man, at work, at the gym, wherever you need determination, you can apply that. The more determined we are, the easier the task becomes. Next slide. Success isn't trying. In order to achieve success, one must have the determination and the will to succeed. But the most important ingredient in this formula is the blessings of Vaishnavas and Krishna. So yes, we may be very determined, we may have the willpower, and we may even do it. But end of the day, we must remember that the key ingredient in that success was the blessings of Vaishnavas and Krishna. Because if we don't have that mercy of the Vaishnavas, we will not get the blessings of Krishna. Some people may wonder, why or how is that possible? Why can't I go directly to Krishna and get his blessings? Why can't I directly approach God? The fundamental basis of why not is that when that I comes in, why can't I directly reach God and get the blessings? Devotees of Krishna do not depend on their eyes. Devotees of Krishna depend on other devotees for mercy. They consider themselves the most humble servant of the servant of the servant of the devotees of Krishna. So we must always remember that in any success in our life, in whichever field it is, that yes, my hard work was there, I was determined, I had some fortune, but end of the day, it was Krishna's blessings and the Vaishnava's mercy. Srila Prabhupada in a lecture in Mumbai, April 10th, 1971 said, determination means utsaha. I must. That is necessary. Not that when Krishna is merciful, then I shall do. Many times people say, Jab Krishna ki ichha hogi, tab hoga. When Krishna desires, it will happen. No, the desire, the utsaha must come from us. Krishna is already merciful. Krishna already wants us to grow in spiritual life. It is not that when Krishna desires, Krishna is just there to help us. But if we do not take it, then what will Krishna do? Krishna does not touch on your little individuality or little independence. He will not interfere with our independence, free will. So therefore we have, just like when we earn money, we are very enthusiastic. Similarly, if we want Krishna consciousness, we want to learn, we want to earn that position, go back home, back to Godhead. We must be very enthusiastic, utsahan. So if we want to go back home, back to Godhead, to the most highest, topmost place where we came from, spiritual world, for that, we have to become enthusiastic. Sri Madhvendra Puri says, let the sharp moralist accuse me of being illusioned. You're an illusion. Pagal hai. I do not mind. Experts in Vedic activities may slander me as being misled. Friends and relatives may call me frustrated. My brothers may call me a fool. The wealthy Maimonides may point me out as mad. And the learned philosophers may assert that I am much too proud. Still, my mind does not budge an inch from the determination to serve the lotus feet of Govinda, though I be unable to do it. So people may criticize you, people may laugh at you, may make fun of you, may think you're crazy, may think you're spending too much time in devotional service. But let whatever may come, I will not budge an inch from the determination to serve the feet of the lotus feet of Govinda. That should be our determination, whatever may happen. Do we have that kind of determination? Or do we give into it? When somebody just keeps pinching you day and night, keeps pinching you, at that point you give in and say, you know what? Forget Krishna consciousness. That's what Krishna wants. Krishna consciousness is not in my life. It's not in my faith in this birth. Maybe next time. Or you just tolerate it, be patient, and continue doing, and let Krishna test you till you fall down, drop dead. Until that point. What is our determination level? Next slide. Good things do not come so easily. You know the difficulties that I encountered in my first year in my country. Sometimes I did not even know where I was to live. Neither when I came did I have any friends. But I was always determined that somehow I would do everything possible to fulfill the desire of my Guru Maharaj. And despite all difficulties, I always remained enthusiastic. Srila Prabhupada says this. In his early days, in the first year in the country, which country? He's talking about US when he came here. There were so many difficulties, but I remained enthusiastic because I had complete faith in Krishna to fulfill the desire of my spiritual master. My Guru Maharaj gave me the task, and always I was discouraged by my God brothers. Sometimes we wonder, we probably don't experience this, right? You know, discouragement from God brothers or sisters. No, it even happened to Srila Prabhupada. But I did not forget him even for a moment, and I was determined to follow my duty, though sometimes I did not like to do it. Even Srila Prabhupada's own God brothers did not help him in time of need. But Srila Prabhupada did not let that stop him. When he was in America, he needed money. He needed some support. But his god brothers were not willing to. They had their own agendas, their own programs. But Srila Prabhupada continued. Is our Krishna consciousness dependent on somebody, on an individual? That if that individual stops reciprocating or does not interact the way we want, our Krishna consciousness slows down or stops? If that is what it is, then we need to change where we are investing our seed of Krishna consciousness. Next slide. We are trying to please Krishna. That is all. Very simple formula. All we are trying to do is please Krishna. We simply must go on with our business to the best of our ability. We must always sincerely try to do our best with great determination. This is the transcendental position. Success or failure, this is not our business. We leave that up to Krishna. Most of the time, we fail to give our best. And still we blame Krishna when we are not successful. When we give our best and then we go up to Krishna and say, Krishna, I am giving so much, but still, then we have the right to go and tell the parents that I'm doing so much hard work, I'm getting good grades, I'm trying everything, but still I'm not getting any recognition from you, I'm not getting any reciprocation from you parents, you're so busy. But when you have not done anything and then to tell parents, I need this, I need that, it's just not justifiable. We must put all our effort in and then wait for Krishna to reciprocate. The key to success in spiritual life is to always endeavor to please the spiritual master and follow his instructions. Now here is a spiritual master telling his disciples. Srila Prabhupada is telling his disciples, the key to success in spiritual life is always to endeavor to please the spiritual master and follow his instructions. One who is determined in this effort will advance very quickly in Krishna consciousness. This one is very important because many of us want to do quick things, easy pass. We want easy pass to zip through the lanes. So if we want an easy pass, the best way to do that is to please the spiritual master and follow his instructions. Next. Our determination should be to serve the previous gurus and acharyas. Evam parampara praptam. That is our determination. Tandera charana sevi, our service, not directly Krishna. Because to serve Vaishnava is more than serving Krishna directly. Mad bhakta puja bhyadika. Krishna likes that. He doesn't accept anyone's service directly. That is a gross mistake. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur is teaching us, trying to become one with Krishna or one with the gopis. They are all Mayavad philosophy. Tandera charana sevi. You have to serve the servant of Krishna. Tad bhritya dasa dasa dasanu das. That is the way, not directly. So go on in this way, serving your spiritual master to best of your capacity and remaining always fixed and steady in your determination to fulfill the goal of your life, namely to go back home, back to Godhead, without further delay. So much importance is given here to serve the spiritual master. Very, very serious business. Next slide. Determination can be attained only by one who does not indulge in sex. Celibacy makes one determination strong. Therefore, from the very beginning, Krishna states that the yogis does not engage in sex. If one indulges in sex, one's determination will be flickering. Impatience is due to loss of determination, and loss of determination is due to excessive sex. Sex life should be controlled according to the rules and regulations governing the Grihastha ashram, or sex should be given up altogether. Actually, it should be given up altogether. But if this is not possible, it should be controlled. Then determination will come, because after all, determination is a bodily affair. Determination means continuing to practice Krishna consciousness with patience and perseverance. If one does not immediately attain the desired results, one should not think, oh, what is this Krishna consciousness? I will give it up. No, we must have determination and faith in Krishna's words. And that is what happens many times. That when things don't go our way, first thing we think about, or the mind thinks about, is giving up Krishna consciousness or giving up our devotional service. But that is the last thing, actually. It should not even be on our list of things to do. Next slide. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So in Krishna consciousness, those who are practicing or wanting to practice Krishna consciousness, the goal of our practicing Krishna consciousness is to please Krishna. To please Krishna. And the result of pleasing Krishna is that automatically we come closer to Krishna. And when we come closer to Krishna means wherever we are, even in this material body, on this earth planet, or in the spiritual world, we are always with Krishna. So we must always remember that my purpose, my goal is to only please Krishna and spiritual master. When we focus on that, everything else is a byproduct of practicing this one fundamental foundation of our bhakti yoga. This is from Bhagavad Gita 12.13 and 14. Let's go to the verse. Next verse, slide. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirha hankara samadukha sukha kshami santushta satatam yogi yatatam drida nishchayah mai arpita mano buddhir yomad bhakta same priyah. Next slide. That was a verse that we read previously. The purport is, coming again to the point of pure devotional service, the Lord is describing the transcendental qualification of a pure devotee in these two verses. A pure devotee is never disturbed in any circumstances, nor is he envious of anyone. Now we're talking about a pure devotee. Now we may disqualify ourselves saying that मैं तो pure devotee नहीं हूँ. I'm not a pure devotee. This only applies to pure devotee. So I can be disturbed. I can be having the feelings of being envious to others. Nor does a devotee become his enemy's enemy. He thinks this person is acting as my enemy due to my own past misdeeds. So it is better to suffer than to protest. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is stated, Tatte nukampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. Whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is the Lord's mercy upon him. Do we think like that? When challenges come, do we sit back, think for a moment and say, I'm going through this. This is an opportunity for me to become stronger. He thinks, thanks to my past deeds, I should suffer far, far greater than I am suffering now. So it is by the mercy of the Supreme Lord that I'm not getting all the punishment I am due. I'm just getting a little by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he's always calm, quiet, and patient despite many distressful conditions. Have we seen devotees who during times of difficulties cannot remain calm, cannot remain quiet, cannot remain patient? They lose their composure, anger spills out, their tongue cannot be controlled, they are disturbed. It is very common in Kali Yuga. But by practice alone, we can come to that point of remaining calm, quiet, patient in distressful conditions. And that is exactly a result of how strong your spiritual practices are. A devotee is always kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Nirmama means that a devotee does not attach much importance to the pains and trouble pertaining to the body, because he knows perfectly well that he is not the material body. He does not identify with the body. Therefore, he is freed from the conception of false ego and is equipoised in happiness and distress. In both situations, in happiness and distress, are we equipoised? Are we remaining dhira? Are we the same? We're not getting too excited and we're not getting too down. He's tolerant and he's satisfied in whatever comes by the grace of the Supreme Lord. He does not endeavor much to achieve something with great difficulty. Therefore, he's always joyful. Always joyful. Mila to mila, nahi mila to nahi mila. If I get it, fine. If I don't get it, no big deal. He is a completely perfect mystic because he's fixed in the instructions received from the spiritual master. And because his senses are controlled, he is determined. He's not swayed by false arguments because no one can lead him from the fixed determination of devotional service. He's fully conscious that Krishna is the eternal Lord. Full Vishwas, Nishtha, conviction that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So no one can disturb him. All these qualifications enable him to fix his mind and intelligence entirely on the Supreme Lord. Such a standard of devotional service is undoubtedly very rare. But a devotee becomes situated in that stage by following the regulative principles of devotional service. Furthermore, the Lord says that such a devotee is very dear to him, for the Lord is always pleased with all his activities in full Krishna consciousness. So in this verse, we can see some of the qualities mentioned of that we can endeavor to build in ourselves. Why? Because this will please Krishna. Rest be assured that it will please Krishna. Rest be assured that Krishna will notice it too. Sometimes we feel that somebody comes and misuses our humility, or somebody rides over us. I want to show them once at least. I want to get back. I want them to know. Or sometimes we do something good and I want people to know that I did this good deed. But if we have complete faith that Krishna as Paramatma within us knows anything and everything that we are doing, and he recognizes, and when time comes, he will recognize a devotee. Who else will Krishna recognize? Just look at in history. Just look at Prahlad Maharaj. He went through a phase of difficulties after difficulties. But when the right moment came, Krishna did not even little bit hesitate to recognize him to the fullest. So much that after so many yugas, we're still singing the glories of Prahlad Maharaj. Just look at Hanuman. He went through so many difficulties. But he was fixed in his duty and he served Lord Ram. When the right time came, what did Ram do? He hugged Hanuman. He hugged Hanuman. Hanuman's tears fell on the shoulder of Lord Ram. He washed the lotus feet of Lord Ram with his own tears. Now, don't we think that if we stay determined and serve Krishna, that the right time will come, the bonus time will come, the appreciation day will come, when Krishna will say, Ram Sharan, Shaili, Jai
Yes,
Draupadi, Shivani, Madhav, Madhvi Sita, Prabhakar, Shraddha, all those who I can see on the call, I'm calling their names. Yogi, that I have seen you day after day. Viju, Harinam Anand, that I've been seeing you day after day. You've been remembering me. You've been serving the devotees. Now is the time. I want to appreciate, I want to recognize you. We have to have that determination that hoga, it will happen. Krishna is recognizing. But we have to endeavor to please him. Now, if you don't please him, what will you do? You will either keep him neutral, right? Neutral, Krishna is neutral with those who are not his devotees. Understand? But now we call ourselves devotees of Krishna, Vaishnavas, Tilak and Kanti Mala. So if we please him or we displease him, there's only two things we can do. The neutral, being neutral state is gone now. If you want to keep Krishna neutral, you have to step out of Krishna consciousness. And then whatever is happening in your life is based on your past karmas. But when we take up devotional service, certain acts that are mentioned in this verse will please Krishna and the opposite will displease Krishna. Now, if you please Krishna, he will glorify you like he did to Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Ram. But if you displease Krishna, he'll do what Shishupal was done with. He will do what was done to Hiranyakashipu. Now we have to decide which one do we want to be. Do I want to be a role model? My role model should be Prahlad Maharaj and Hanuman, or my role model should be Hiranyakashipu and Shishupal. Now, what did they do wrong? How did they displease Krishna? We all know. They hurt the devotees of Krishna. That was the basic, fundamental problem. Next slide. So let's read this verse, Bhagavad Gita 2.44. Bhogaishwarya prashakatva taya parharta chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So where this resolute determination for devotional service, I have to do the devotional service to please Krishna, given. But now I'm not getting this determination. Why? Two things are mentioned. Too attached to sense enjoyment and too attached to material opulence. These are the two key things. Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti says, Samyak adhiyate, smin atma tattva yathatmayam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in Samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. So in a nutshell, if we are too attached to sense enjoyment, sense, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, too attached to those things, and too attached to material opulence, I want more opulence, rich, I want more and more and more, we will lack that resolute determination for devotional service to the Lord. Now one may say, well, Prabhu, Parikshit Maharaj had more, the Pandavas had more, Prahlad was a Maharaj, Dhruva was a Maharaj. Yes, but having more, they were completely detached from it. Parikshit Maharaj gave up everything and left. Dhruva Maharaj wanted everything, and when he was getting everything, he said, no, I don't want anything. That was their state. But once we get into this Maya Jal of wanting more and more and more, we will find ourselves moving away from Krishna. That's a basic formula. You don't have to go too far. Just look within, if that's happened to us at some point in life. But there are some devotees who, when they get more, they come more and more closer to Krishna also. Because they realize that how Krishna, amazingly, I'm not even endeavoring for things so much, but Krishna is just giving me and giving me and giving me. And what they do, they take all that is being given and then give it back to Krishna and the devotees. They engage. Krishna is giving me so much time. Now let me engage that time in Krishna. Krishna is giving me so much wealth. Now let me engage that wealth more in Krishna. He's not endeavoring that now I need more wealth. Now I'm going to invest here and invest there. Now he's just thinking where to invest, how to invest, what if I lose money. He's not engrossed in that. He's ready. He's ready that tomorrow, if I lose everything, I can live in one small apartment, one studio apartment. I can easily get 3 times food. If we don't earn any money, the government also supports. They will give me insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, or whatever else is there. I'll get food stamps. He starts from there. Thinks that what can I lose? But Krishna is giving me so much, so I'll use that in Krishna's service. Not that I'll hoard it. I'll keep hoarding and hoarding. And what else is missing? Why the determination? What else is missing? Perseverance and patience. We read that in the previous verse. If we don't have perseverance, matlab constantly trying and trying and trying, never giving up, that will make us determined. The example you see in this picture is a story of a sparrow. The sparrow laid eggs by the ocean, and she and her husband, Mr. Sparrow and Mrs. Sparrow, were going to travel from there. So they told the ocean, please take care of my eggs. We'll be back in a few days to collect our babies. The sparrow, Mr. and Mrs. went on vacation. When they came back, the eggs were missing from the shore. So the sparrow went up to the ocean and said, hey, what happened to my eggs? I left them in your care. And I see that you came to the shore, and I see tracks, I see traces that you came and you took the eggs away. The ocean said, I don't know where they are. I don't know. They're lost somewhere in my ocean. I don't know. The sparrow got so angry and so upset that the sparrow said, I am going to dry you up if you do not return my eggs. A little tiny sparrow speaking to the vast ocean. The ocean did not respond. So the sparrow went to the shore with a tiny little beak, collected some water, brought it back on the shore, sand, and dropped a couple of drops on the shore. Are you all with me? You getting the story? Okay. So the sparrow will quickly go to the ocean, pick up some water drops, bring it to the shore, drop it. Pick up, drop, pick, drop, pick, drop, pick, drop. All the other birds started looking at this and were like, what is the sparrow doing? And the sparrow would pause and they would ask, what are you doing? It says, I am emptying the ocean. Emptying the ocean. And they started laughing. But the sparrow never stopped, kept doing it. From one bird to another bird to another bird, the word went all the way to the greatest among the birds, Garuda. And when Garuda found out, Garuda himself came to witness this. Is this really true? And Garuda saw the sparrow doing exactly what he had heard. Garuda came to the sparrow and said, Mrs. Sparrow, what is going on here? He says, the ocean took my eggs and is not giving me back. My children were to be born from there. Garuda was so impressed by the determination of this little sparrow to not give up finding the children, and the determination that this is not right, and I will teach a lesson to the ocean. Garuda's heart was moved, and he called upon the ocean. And he said that, ocean, if you do not return the eggs of this little sparrow, you know who I am. I am Garuda. I will in a moment dry you up. What happened was that little sparrow's endeavors, determination to do something, moved the heart of a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. And the ocean somehow or other found those eggs and gave it back to the sparrow. The morale of the story is that when we, as those tiny little sparrows, are determined to do devotional service, our seva that we've committed to, the seva that we have desired for, day after day, Sunday after Sunday, Friday after Friday, daily, with love and devotion, then that pleases a devotee of Krishna. When the devotee of Krishna is pleased, he makes recommendation, he gives us his mercy, and that mercy directly pleases Krishna. Very important. When we cook at home, when the mothers cook at home, in this heat, in this summer, we have air conditions now, but if you didn't have an air condition, it's hot, it's frustrating, it's tiring, and you had to cook. Would you cook complaining after complaining? I have to do this all day, I have to make this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and then feed your child? But before even your child, actually devotees feed Krishna. So would you complain and cook? You have to cook anyways, you know that. But should I cook in that mood and offer to Krishna and my family? I have to go to work anyways, every day. Do I complain and do that, and the money that I earn, in that mood I give to Krishna? Or I just do it happily? That, hey, today I at least have a family. There are people out there who don't even have their family. How many people lost their lives in COVID? Their children are gone, their parents are gone. Today we have beautiful kids. We have beautiful parents. If we just think a moment that at least I have a child to cook for, at least I have a husband to cook for, let me cook peacefully, happily, listening to Krishna Katha, listening to Krishna conscious songs, and cook at that time. The positive vibrations will go into the food, and that we will offer to the deities and the family. So we have to have the determination, that perseverance, day after day, you have to do the same thing. We have to go to the office, do the same thing. Sometimes you have to take crap from anybody and everybody at work. But so what? We're not attached to our jobs. Our goal is to please Krishna. We do enough what is required to keep the job rolling, for the paychecks to come. Okay? But our goal is to please Krishna, not just to please my boss. And then patience. Patience is very much required. Take the example of Srila Prabhupada. In 1971, Srila Prabhupada, June of 1971, Srila Prabhupada went to Russia, Moscow. Nobody had been to Moscow before. None of the Krishna conscious devotees, there was hardly any devotees. Prabhupada's mission was that Russia, which was under the communist country, no religion to be practiced, he took two devotees with him, Shyam Sundar and Aravinda. They went to Moscow. Now, first of all, getting the visa for Moscow was very difficult. So somehow or other, they had to get in touch with somebody in Russia who can do their sponsorship. So they found an Indologist who studies India or the Vedic culture or about the culture of India. So they got in touch with a university and they found a professor, Dr. Kotovsky, Professor Kotovsky, and through them, he got his visa, and the three of them landed in Russia. They were guests of the state of Russia, so everything was paid for. From the hotel, they took, a limo came and took them to the hotel. The condition was that anywhere you go, wherever you go, they are going to be under the supervision of the Russian government. So they had a tour guide with them all the time. Somebody was watching them all the time. They were to meet Professor Kotovsky, have discussions, go back home, back to India. So they were given a small hotel. When Prabhupada came to his room from the airport, they got two rooms, one for him and one for the other two devotees. This one room itself, there was just enough room to keep one bed. That's it. And Prabhupada said, Arvinda, you stay with me, and Shyam Sundar, you stay in the other room. What about food? This is 1971. There's no kitchen or anything there. So Prabhupada sends Shyam Sundar across the street and says, go get something to eat, some vegetables, some fruits, whatever you get. There was a yogurt and a milk place across the street. Shyam Sundar goes there. He returns without anything. No fruits, no vegetables, no rice, nothing. Srila Prabhupada says, go again and find something. After a full day being out, Shyam Sundar returns with a few cabbages, just a few cabbages. And then what to do with those cabbages? So he goes to the hotel manager and says, we need our own kitchen space to cook in. Imagine that. You all with me? Yeah, all of us have beautiful kitchens. So here Shyam Sundar is going, sir, and they don't speak English well. Cabbage, cut, cook, eat. He says, what cut, cook, eat? I'll cut you off and eat. He says, we cannot do this. Shyam Sundar was determined, convinced the manager. He gave him a small space, go cook. They cooked cabbage. They had cabbage. Next day, Srila Prabhupada sends him to get some rice. He comes back after hours and hours and he brings a little bag of rice. And this rice was the worst kind of rice. It was the North Korean hard rice. If anybody knows what the North Korean rice is, it's very hard. It's very hard to boil and even cook and eat. And then Prabhupada says, okay, can you get some fruits? So he hikes for a few miles and only thing he finds is some wild berries and he brings for Prabhupada. This is what he's eating. Now look at the determination. Despite all this situation, Srila Prabhupada wakes up early in the morning, does his translations, does his japa, goes for his japa walk. Shyam Sundar and Aravinda walk in front of Prabhupada, clicking pictures of Prabhupada in Russia. We can go back and show to everybody and encourage them. The day they reach the hotel, are you all with me? The story, very important, very beautiful. This is where Russia Hare Krishna movement started. The next day, the limousine comes to take the three of them to meet Professor Kotovsky, Russian University. Prabhupada is talking to him. They are not allowed to bring any books into Russia, so Prabhupada had to go without any books. You know, maybe some pages of here and there, that's it. And Prabhupada is speaking, and Prabhupada right away hits the nail and says, Dr. Professor Kotovsky, you know, this is Vedic culture, this is this soul, transmigration, bhakti yoga, different forms of yoga. Will you allow me to speak in your university to the students? Silence. Professor looks at him as if this man is crazy or what? And right away he refuses and says, Prabhupada, sorry, that is impossible. You cannot speak in public forums. Not only you will be arrested, but I will be arrested too. When Prabhupada heard that, because his whole purpose was to go there and preach to masses. When Prabhupada heard that, the two devotees with him were so disappointed. But when they looked at Srila Prabhupada's face, Prabhupada was calm, composed as if nothing had happened. Okay, that's what it is. That's what it is. ठीक है, no problem. Sometimes we get so disappointed, right? मैं ये बुक लेके गया, उसको 10 बार बोला भगवत गीता इज फॉर यू, भगवत गीता इज फॉर यू, वो फिर भी वो मेरे को लिया ही नहीं मेरे से. No response, nothing. We get so disappointed. Prabhupada was rejected. Prabhupada was calm. He left from there. No problem. That was the second day. When they came back, Prabhupada went to his room. Aravinda is massaging Prabhupada. Shyam Sundar steps out. Said, idhar tak aaye, thoda Moscow ghum lete bhai. Kabhi Moscow aane, when will I get to see Moscow? Who knows? So I've come here, let me just go out and look around. He goes out, and while he's walking around in his dhoti, in his white attire, with a big long shika, a tall guy, two people are walking down the street. One of them, his name is Narayan. He's the son of a diplomat from India. And the other one's name is Ivan. He's a local Moscovian. They spot this guy. And Narayan, who's the son of a diplomat from India, recognizes this kind of figure. And they both walk up to him and says, hey, you don't look like you're from India. You're a Western body, but you're dressed like an Indian. And Shyam Sundar is like, wow, somebody who speaks English. Ivan didn't really speak much English. They were friends. So Shyam Sundar starts talking to him that I am this, I'm Hare Krishna, Jap Jap, yoga, yogi, and this and that. And he impresses them. And he says, hey, would you like to meet my guru? Your guru, where is your guru? My guru is just down the street in a hotel. You want to meet him? A sadhu. And they are completely bewildered, a sadhu in Moscow. So yes, I want to go. Shyam Sundar takes him. They take him to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's feet is being massaged. Yes, Prabhupada, yes. I have these two gentlemen from Moscow. They would like to meet you. Okay, come on in. And they both come. They sit in front of Prabhupada's lotus feet. There's no space otherwise. And Prabhupada starts talking about Krishna consciousness. And in a couple of hours, Prabhupada has downloaded the entire vedabase.ie in summary, in nutshell. And Narayan, who speaks English, is translating in Russian to Ivan. And Ivan's eyes become from this small bigger and bigger and bigger. And at the end, his eyes are like Lord Jagannath. And his enthusiasm is just amazing. So after everything is downloaded, Ivan and Narayan leave for home. And before they leave, can we come back tomorrow? And now the third day, Ivan and Narayan come back to Prabhupada. Devotees, do you know how many days Prabhupada was in Russia? You can either type in the chat box or you can show with your fingers. Take a guess. How many days was Prabhupada in Russia? Throw a number. Shraddha Mataji, 5 days. Shaili Mataji, 3 days. 1 week, Ram Sharan Prabhu. 1 day, Asta? No, this is the third day. So Prabhupada was in Russia for 4 days. Paresh Prabhu said, correct. 4 days. Now this is the third day. He's already downloaded Vedabase. Now he has downloaded it. He has to install the software. So now on the 4th day, Ivan comes back and guess what? Prabhupada spoke again to him and Ivan is ready. Ivan says, I love this. Prabhupada says, I love you too. Says, what should I do next? Prabhupada said, I want to initiate you. Will you become my disciple? Ivan says, I have not taken the disciple course yet. He says, don't worry about the disciple course yet. I have not been chanting 16 rounds for 1 year. Okay, don't worry about 16 rounds for 1 year. Chant one time now, Hare Krishna. He said, how do you chant? Okay, chant after me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Okay, you're ready. Your name is Ananta Shanti Das ki. Say Hari Bol, everybody. and he gets initiated. In 1.5 days, Ivan becomes Ananta Shanti Das. On the 4th day, Prabhupada leaves him and goes back. Now look what happened. In 10 years, 1971 to 1981-82, Ananta Shanti Das kept preaching by himself in Russia, underground. Somehow or other the books were sent, something was done. He would type it, write it, distribute books, talk to other people, and started making devotees. That one person, one day association of a devotee like Srila Prabhupada. In 1982, the KGB incarcerated Ananta Shanti Das in a psychiatric hospital. They were tracking him. They found that this is something is happening, this religious thing is happening, and this person's behind. Finally, they arrested him and put him in a psychiatric hospital, called him, "You are a pagal, you are mad." He escapes after a month, and right away he gets caught again. And he receives doses of neuroleptics, high doses of chemicals through which his mind is dull, made dull completely. His physiological condition is completely like a vegetable. And they tell him, sign on this paper that the Hare Krishnas have brainwashed me. And whatever little intelligence he's had, he's not willing to sign. He's not willing to do it. They completely destroyed him. His body was swelling and his mind was completely dull, but was determined that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee, and I will never give up Krishna consciousness. Later on, another Mataji got initiated. Her name was Olga Kiseleva. Her name became Premavati Devi Das. She was a graduate from Moscow University and a mother of 2 children. And she was pregnant with the 3rd child. She was arrested in 1983. You know what her crime was? Her crime was that she helped in translating the Bhagavad Gita into the Russian language. That was her crime, for which she was taken to a state prison. And in the state prison, she was given a very poor diet, and other prisoners would attack and beat her. The baby that was born in the jail was born with a heart defect and died in a few months. Now just put our situations in theirs. You know, what is my problem? My car is not working properly. There's some noise. Right? There's some plumbing problem in the house. I'm so disturbed. Right? My office, something is going on. Very disturbing. Somebody said something to me. I'm very disturbed. Put ourselves in the situation, or just hear the stories of these great Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So that was her crime. There was another devotee, Sarkis Ohanjanayan, who was only 21 years old, and he was put in prison. His only guilt was that he believed in God and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he refused to eat meat. They would force him to eat meat. He said, no, I'm not going to eat meat. They put him behind the bars. And 1.5 years later, he died in the winter of 1986 in a labor camp. Why? You know, because of malnutrition and tuberculosis. Why? Because he did not eat the meat they gave him. So what they used to give him? Bread, just plain bread. And that bread used to be hard as a rock. Hard. So for that bread, all he asked was, give me some salt. So what he would do, he would take the salt, he put it on the bread. And as soon as you put salt on the bread, what happens? It starts becoming soft. So when it becomes soft, what he did? He took that bread and he made 108 small pieces of bread. And he rounded it up. And he made beads out of that bread. 108. He did not eat that bread. And they thought, the prisoners thought that, the guards thought that he ate the bread. He would give it back. They would make more, give it back. And then every day he was chanting all day long. He had nothing else to do. He would take the 108 salted bread and would chant the holy names of the Lord. Finally, one day, when the guards came inside, this devotee was sitting in a lotus position and he was chanting. And with that bread, that watery bread, he had applied tilak on his, with toothpaste. He took toothpaste and he applied tilak on his forehead with the toothpaste. And with the bread, he made beads and he was just chanting Hare Krishna. Determination. There was another devotee, Amala Bhakta Das. He was a father of 5 and he was sentenced for 5 years in labor camp. And finally, he was only released because the word came all the way from different organizations to Nancy Reagan. And Nancy Reagan helped talk to the Russian government and had him released. So I just wanted to share these devotees. And later on, we saw that the efforts of devotees like Ananta Shanti, Premavati did not go in vain. Today, tens and thousands of devotees are now chanting Hare Krishna in Russia. They had the determination. Prabhupada had the determination. He went for 4 days, but he had the determination. Why? Because he had full faith in what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. What did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Prithvite aache yata nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mor naam. In as many towns and villages as there are on the surface of the earth, my holy names will be preached. That is what Mahaprabhu said, and they believed in it. Do we believe in that? Do we want to be a part of that? Or do we just want to be a spectator? Is up to us. So I hope today you all, some of you, one of you, hearing these stories of the Russian devotees of Prabhupada, of the sparrow, that you will again regain that determination that, no, I want to do this. I want to. I will not give up. Even if one person thinks like that, to me, my determination is that, yes, I am tired. Yes, I have many things to do. But yes, I will speak. And I'll speak from my heart. I want to be determined to speak from my heart. And hopefully one person will be touched by the words that I just spoken by our acharyas. Go to the next slide. There's a beautiful question that was asked to His Holiness Radharat Maharaj. You can also select audio, so this way audio comes, and just click on next again. You just click the next arrow. No. Go back. Just click on enter or something like that. No. If you click on the next arrow button, not there on your keyboard?
No, Prabhuji. I tried all options.
Okay.
I did next arrow.
Okay. Click on the picture. Same thing.
Click on the picture too.
Okay. So I'll come back to that. Go to the next slide anyways. Okay. And then, I want to summarize with 7 practical tips for strengthening our determination. 7 practical tips. Now, this is also for mainly, I'm talking Krishna consciousness, but even in general in life, this will help you a lot. We do Ekadashis. Why do we do Ekadashi? It's pleasing to the Lord. Why do we fast on Ekadashis? Also because when we do these austerities, it makes one stronger. Stronger mentally, physically. It makes us more determined. Austerities are done to please the Lord, but also it makes us stronger. So similarly, there are certain things that if we do, will make us very determined to do more. Number 1 is being punctual. Time management, very important. You see any successful people out there, their one most important key that they have on the top of their list is time. They're very pakka about time, very punctual. And I take this because Srila Prabhupada himself exemplified this in many cases. When devotees were late in receiving him, his food was late, prasadam was late, anything, Srila Prabhupada was very particular. Wherever he had to be to meet a delegate, to meet somebody, Prabhupada always would be there on time. Prabhupada would, if somebody was to come to meet Prabhupada, some respectable person, Prabhupada would always be ready for that person ahead of time. So being punctual is very important, but it is one of the things which is very easy to give up also. So if we want to strengthen our determination, we have to focus on this one point of time. Time with Krishna, and time that we've given to others, and time for our own sadhana and everything. For example, if you give time to say, let's say you've given time to meet somebody at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for lunch, or just to meet somebody important. And to meet that person at 1, you had to leave home at 2 o'clock. But as you were to leave at 2 o'clock, something else comes up, and that needs to be done in 30 minutes. So what we would do is we would get a little disturbed and say, okay, I have to finish this, I have to do this too. So now let me just push my 1 o'clock meeting and tell the person I cannot come at 1, I'll just push it to 1:30. Whereas the other person has made all arrangements to meet you at 1. We have two choices. Either we can tackle that other issue that has come our way and just deal with that and focus on that and easily push our time to meet somebody else, and whatever other person has to go with, it's their problem. Or we have the determination that, no, I need to somehow meet this person at 2. I've given my word to meet at 1 o'clock. I have to do that. But now let me put all my energy to finish this task that has come up and do that quickly in next 10 minutes or 15 minutes and just get that done so I can get to the other place. Let me plan. We lost the screenshot. Yep. So let me plan my day accordingly, where what I've committed to, I get there on time. Because things will come your way. Successful people, things do come on their way. But they are so pakka on their time that they will either put that aside or they will handle it so quickly that my time that I had committed to does not get shaken. They are determined. Determination comes from that. Now, Krishna, we need Krishna. You're swimming in a pool or a beach or an ocean, and suddenly you come to a point where you can't touch your feet anymore to the ground and you don't know how to swim. And like Gajendra, you call out, Krishna! Now Krishna says, wait, Lakshmi is massaging my feet. When she finishes, I'll come. I say, Krishna, what are you talking about? Massaging your feet at this point when I'm drowning? Come right now. We want Krishna when we call him. Similarly, Krishna is also very punctual. We also become punctual. Give up habits deep down you know is bad for you. Determination will come from that. The bad habits, look at the hippies in the 60s. They had their habits. Srila Prabhupada held their hand one by one day at a time, helped them change their habits. If we have habits, we all have different habits. We have habits to go into social media, Facebook, spend hours and hours on YouTube, watch TVs, movies, criticize someone. We know these habits that we have are bad for us and for our Krishna consciousness. But if one day, just today, if any one of you can take that vow, that just one day, tomorrow, I know what that habit of mine is, which is not helping me, that tomorrow I'm not going to do that. Just one day, just tomorrow. You will see that just by doing tomorrow, it will be very difficult. It may be tea also. But that one day, if you can do it, then the next day becomes easier to do it also. Giving up your bad habits. Do not neglect physical exercises. Determination comes from that. If you regularly make it a point to do some physical exercise, may it be a walk, a jog, push-ups, depending on your ability, where you stand, it will make you stronger. People who are in the Olympics, getting gold and this and that, they're working hard. When they've done their 20 push-ups, now they can't go anymore. That's when the trainer comes and says, one more, you've got to do it. What? But I don't have any air left. One more. And that's where that push comes from. Physically, when you go out and push yourself to that extent. And when you go out and sweat out, the next day you feel even more stronger. You're exhausted, but the next day you're even more stronger. Determination comes there. When somebody is in depression, you go to a doctor, the first thing they'll tell you this, do you exercise? If you want to come out of your depression, one of the things you need to do is go out in nature. Go under the sun, take some fresh air and work out. That will help you. The fourth thing is set up very specific goals. Yeah. Prabhupada also had goals. Certain temples, Vrindavan temple, it has to be opened by Janmashtami time. That's the goal. Devotees, Prabhupada, we don't even have walls here. It has to open. That's the goal. Devotees work towards it and make it happen. So whatever your goal is, have a goal. I want to complete a book by next year. I want to finish my Bhakti Shastri by next year. Whatever that is, set your specific goal. Now the goal is set, but know your why. Because if you don't know why you want to achieve that goal, you will fail. That conviction will be not there. You need to have conviction in what you believe in, and then your goal becomes meaningful. What was Srila Prabhupada's goal? I want to please my spiritual master. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj told me, you go to the West and preach this message. That was his goal. I mean, that was his why I want to achieve my goal of spreading Krishna consciousness. So what is my why? I want to set an example, or I want to please Guru or Krishna. What is your why? The sixth one is learn to say no to negative influences. Sometimes people think that just being nice and saying yes to everything makes one a better person. No. If you're not learned to say no, you'll be in deep trouble. Just see our own spiritual master. He was in a situation which was not favorable for his Krishna consciousness. His wife wanted to sell off Srimad Bhagavatam to get some money or some paper to get money to have tea and use that money in drinking tea. Prabhupada didn't want that. He said, no, this is not acceptable. This is not right. And there was other things also. And Prabhupada, walked away for Krishna consciousness, for a higher purpose. We have to learn to say no to negative influences. And the last, seventh one, spend your time with positive people and keep away from negative. Determination will come. If we hang out with all the time those who are negative influences, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if you are with a Mayavadi, you sit with the Mayavadi. Mayavadis, those who do not accept Krishna as a Supreme Lord, do not accept the Lord as a person. They say the Lord is an energy. If you sit with that person, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that you're committing a spiritual suicide. Mahaprabhu says it is better to sit in a cage full of fire and burn your body than sit in the midst of people who do not accept God as a person. So we must learn this. If we all the time, hang around with people who are always negative, they will break you. They will tear you apart. And one day we will realize that I am also talking like them. So it is very important who your association is. And it is very easy to identify. How do you identify whether I'm in the right association or wrong? You analyze yourself and see, most of the time when I associate with my colleague or whoever in the family or friends, what am I hearing from them? What is going into my ears? Is it something that is helping me in my Krishna consciousness? Or is it making me ill about things? Is it making me think negative things? I'm not feeling good after meeting and hearing things from this person. Some people feel that, hey, after meeting with you, now I'm fully charged. Hey, now after talking to you, I feel pumped up. That's how you classify. That's how you identify. So these 7 things, if you do, will help us also become determined. We have the right association. And that's what Maharaj was talking about. I will end here. I wanted to show that video, but I'll pause here. Any questions or comments? I'll keep it short. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This is Harinam Das.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. I just had a quick question. Then, in the examples that you gave us, one of them was for the sparrow who was determined to fight for something done wrong to her. And the purport, the verse that we you quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam about Tattenu Kampam, where devotee is just like, just taking on any insult or any hardship that comes upon us, upon himself, as just the blessing of the Lord. So how do you reconcile that? Like, whether like, to spend energy and fight for the right, or whether to take it as the mercy of the Lord, or like, because of my past misdeeds, I'm getting this, so I just tolerate this.
Yeah, very good question, because this is a very common question. People get confused many times. And many times those who are, honestly speaking, are not very strong or very weak, they take the side of, I just want to remain humble and not do anything. But that's where taking guidance from Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu comes. We have to inquire. Don't do it by yourself. Don't just go and fight because you think it's right to do. Take guidance. Sometimes the fight is required. Prabhupada was shoved around many times. Prabhupada did not just give up. Prabhupada fought. Just look at the Juhu temple. Mr. Nair, he took the money from us. Then he's saying, now take the money and I don't want to give you the land. Give me the land back. There was a fight. And Prabhupada fought the fight. He told the devotees, don't budge. Now that we may say, oh, that was with external people outside. What if it's internal? Well, even if it's internal, we have to take guidance from other senior devotees and not take matters in our own hand. So when we take guidance from senior devotees, when we take guidance, then as per their guidance, and many times, like what did Arjuna do also? He took guidance from Krishna. Krishna told him everything. Krishna actually wanted him to do this. Then he says, okay, do whatever you want. By that time, Arjuna's eyes had opened. So we must not always take things into our hands and fight. And we should not always, there's no rule of thumb that we should always just leave it. Even in that fight, Arjuna was remembering Krishna. Even in certain times when we have to fight for the right cause, we are not hating the person. Understand? We want to get things done right. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was asked, Maharaj, if we say something but my intention was not to hurt the person, do I get offense of hurting that Vaishnava? Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, no. Your intentions are what matters. If your intention was not to do that, then it's okay, you're rectifying. But again, it depends on your position. Are you a madhyamadik? Are you a friend of the person? Are you a senior to that person? Or are you just new in Krishna conscious, trying to rectify somebody who's senior to you? So all these things matter, Prabhu. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Yeah, that helps.
Okay.
Taking guidance and not doing things on your own accord is what makes a difference.
Yes.
Because if thank you so much. Yeah,
I was just telling somebody yesterday about Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, where these asampradayas, the people, they were attacking Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, and he ran for his life. And what happened, right? His own disciple, they changed their dresses. One became the sannyasi and Maharaj became brahmachari. They ran in two different ways. And they ran after this sannyasi and they later found out that's not Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj. So, Maharaj is not just saying, okay, Jo Krishna, come beat me. I'll take that as Krishna's mercy. No, it's never like that. Vaishnavas are the most humble, but when time comes, they are the best of the Kshatriyas also. Remember this. Hanuman was humble, but when time came, he destroyed Lanka. So, people should know, don't mess with the Vaishnava. Any other question? Comment? And as Kali Yuga progresses, people are going to run over Vaishnavas. Listen, devotees are going to be taken for granted. People are going to come and attack our temples. Mayapur temple was attacked by dacoits. Every person, including sannyasis, took up sticks and rifles and fought with them. Why? Hey, protect. We will not give up so easily. First you go over us, then you can go and see Radha Madhav. But first you come and, get dust from our lotus feet. Okay? So if you are still, those who want to rest, I know it's late, you can rest, but I thought let's play that video, Radhanath Maharaj's 3 minutes. those who would like to hear here. The question from Maharaj is that this person is asking a question that Maharaj, growing up, going to school, college, getting a job, we were so determined. I want to become something. I want to do this. I want to do this. But as soon as I came into Krishna consciousness, I don't know what happened to my determination. So Maharaj is answering that question, relevant to all of us. So let me share my screen and hopefully it will play from here. But I need to open the slide first. 1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, there it is. Share screen. Let me know if you can hear the sound. Is the sound okay?
Maharaj,
Yes, Prabhu.
positively determination is there, but the profit distinction or the lust and greed is so deeply rooted in the heart. Otherwise, we can't work. When we studied, we started earning money, determination was there. But that determination hasn't come. Even 10% of that determination is not there for the spiritual thing. Even at any age, in spite of wonderful lecture and wonderful association, if even 10% of that determination come, which we have even for material thing even now, I think we can make tremendous progress. So what is that which is missing, that determination?
Association is very important. If we associate with people who are striving to be determined, then that will help us to become determined. Who we choose to associate with is the expression of what we want, what is our free will. So it is very important that we associate with people who are determined for renunciation and devotion. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Sastra Koi Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. One moment association with a real sadhu can change our life. A sadhu can be grihastha, living with wife or husband, with children, in home. Or a sadhu can be someone who has renounced everything, is living in the forest or ashram. But a real sadhu is one who is genuinely detached from sense gratification and truly attached to the loving service of the Lord. If we associate with such persons, then it is possible, not only possible, but it is guaranteed, if we strive by proper means, to have that determination of the sparrow that we were discussing. However, if we associate with people who are too much attached to material things, then our determination for Krishna consciousness will go down. Bhogaishvaya prasaktanam taya parita chetasam vyavashayatmaka bhutir samadho navadiyate. For those who are too much attached to material opulence and sense gratification, the resolute determination for devotional service will not take place. So how to free ourselves from the attachment to material opulence and sense gratification? By associating with people who have those qualities, by hearing from them, by serving them, and by trying to apply their example, their inspiration, and their instructions to our life. Does that answer your question?
So you saw that association is the key. So pick your right association. That's your investment. That's your mutual fund. Have a mutual fund, bunch of stocks, bunch of friends. That fund together is your mutual fund. Do not put everything in one stock. All right, and I had one more video. So I officially call today's class over. So now whoever wants to say is at your own risk. So, no one feels that, so long a class I had to stay up. I release everybody. Whoever wants to go and rest can go and rest. No pressure. So there's one more good. I came across this. My heart was touched by this person. She is not into Krishna consciousness, not necessarily a Krishna devotee, but what determination. I was so inspired by this person's determination. You'd like to watch? Who would like to watch? Okay, at least some are there. I'll play this video. Watch carefully.
I like it. Your body, how body may reach you. Because I bottle fatigue.
All right, so let me bring it up again. And let's see if it'll play on my end. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, let me know if you can hear. This is Captain Vashika Tyagi. She was from the Indian Army.
करी तो मैंने आराम से बैठने के लिए फौज ज्वाइन नहीं करी. मैंने वॉलंटियर जज्बा एंड जोश. I was the parade commander this time with a pregnant belly and security guards walking behind me. We did this whole perimeter fencing round. ये एक attitude है. Never say die. Friends, I'm Captain Yashika Hatwal Tyagi, and I'm from the very initial batches of the women entry into Indian Army. Jai Hind. Failure. Surprised? I'm beginning with the term failure. By the definition of it, the failure means lack of success. And what does success means? Accomplishment of a task. So the whole theory is that they are two sides of the same coin. You get success, good. You get failure, you keep working hard till you get success. Simple theory. Not so simple. Not so simple, really. If you are stuck in a situation, not so simple. फिर आता है आपके दिल का जोश. एक छोटी सी कहानी शेयर करना चाहूंगी. आप लोगों ने कभी 26 जनवरी की सुबह चाय की चुस्की पीते पीते रिपब्लिक डे की परेड देखी होगी. I was an NCC cadet and went to Republic Day camp. दिल में जोश, चाल में आत्मविश्वास, ट्रेनिंग और अपने ऊपर इतना फख्र कि जब मैं वर्दी पहनती हूं तो मैं एक आइडियल एनसीसी कैडेट दिखती हूं. So my marching is perfect. My bearing is perfect. My turnout is perfect. So loaded with this confidence, I reached Rajpath parade selection. So in Republic Day camp, there is a selection for the Rajpath march. Reached there. One look at me, reject. I could not understand. I thought शायद कुछ गलती हो गई. मुझे एक मौका नहीं मिला. मुझे कोई डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन का मौका नहीं मिला. Reject. I could not say anything. So I waited for some time and then I went to the selection committee and I asked them. They told me that there is a height criteria, by which we mean that contingent जब march करता है तो average height same होनी चाहिए. Now, friends, this is one failure which was so totally beyond my control. मैं एक पहाड़ी हूं और मेरी हाइट ज्यादा नहीं है और हाइट की वजह से मेरी सिलेक्शन नहीं हुई. So there are failures in life which are sometimes beyond your control. लेकिन दिल है कि मानता नहीं. I was not ready to take it or accept it as it was put up to me. I thought, अब मैं क्या करूं? Just at that moment, I saw the Director General NCC walking in with an entourage of other senior officers. I said, abhi nahi to kabhi nahi. I will have to move forward. And so when I went there, I marrowed a double time thumb, a salute, and I said, sir, I have been rejected. He said, what's the reason? I said, height criteria, sir. He said, I cannot do anything about it. I said, sir, I'm a perfect candidate for parade commander, and I am sure there is no height criteria for parade commander. Well, of course, I think there was, because he told me, push off. I did not get back crying. Again, I did a double time thumb, salute, and I left. Had a failure, accepted it, rationalized it, went on. I reached academy. And this time, through sweat and blood and toil and Atmavishwas and Jazba and Josh, I was the parade commander this time. And I got out of the academy with a medal and as a contingent commander. Thank you. So all I want to share with you, friends, is failure आपके बस में हो तो उसे हैंडल करें. फेलियर आपके बस में नहीं हो तो दिल पे ना लगाएं. जिंदगी में हर तरीके की मुसीबतें आती हैं. रिस्पॉन्ड, नॉट रिएक्ट. मैं क्या कर सकता हूं या मैं क्या कर सकती हूं, यह सोचो. फेलियर आता है तो इंसान कभी कभी वीक होता है. कई बार हम काम करते करते अपनी हिम्मत छोड़ते हैं. चाहे कोई क्रॉस कंट्री का रनर हो, 5 किलोमीटर, 10 किलोमीटर, 11 किलोमीटर, 20 किलोमीटर, 30 किलोमीटर, 40 किलोमीटर, कभी ना कभी उसकी हिम्मत छूटती है. मैं क्या कर रहा हूं, क्यों नहीं मैं इसे छोड़ देता. हिम्मत छूटती है. वो हिम्मत बना के रखना आपका काम. खुद को हिम्मत बंधाओ. खुद अपना एक सेवियर बनिए. गिव योरसेल्फ दैट टॉक, गिव योरसेल्फ दैट पेप टॉक. आई कैन डू इट, आई कैन डू इट. जब मैंने फौज ज्वाइन करी तो मैंने आराम से बैठने के लिए फौज ज्वाइन नहीं करी. मैंने वॉलंटियर किया कि मैं एक्सट्रीम कोल्ड क्लाइमेट और हाई एल्टीट्यूड एरिया की पोस्टिंग करूंगी. और मुझे लेह की पोस्टिंग मिली. लेह की पोस्टिंग के दौरान कुछ ऐसे वाकये हुए जिसने एक पर्सनैलिटी को शेप किया, जिसने हमें लिमिट के आगे जाना सिखाया. कारगिल की लड़ाई के दौरान हमारी यूनिट की सिक्योरिटी ऑप अलर्ट पे थी. ऑप अलर्ट से मतलब यूनिट की सिक्योरिटी से ऊपर और कुछ नहीं. और हम सभी ऑफिसर्स और जवान को मिलकर जो हमारी सिक्योरिटी ड्रिल है उसे पूरा करना था. क्योंकि कारगिल की लड़ाई थी, मैंने एक रिक्वेस्ट करी थी कि कृपया मुझे मेरे बच्चे को साथ में रखने की अनुमति दीजिए, क्योंकि अकेले पहाड़ों के बीच में उस बच्चे को छोड़ना बहुत मुश्किल था. यह फौज की पद्धत नहीं है कि आप अपने बच्चे को दफ्तर लाएं, लेकिन वो एक रिक्वेस्ट थी क्योंकि वो समय मुश्किल और कठिनाई भरा था. मेरा 1.5 साल का बच्चा मेरे साथ, मी एज अ प्रेग्नेंट लेडी ऑफिसर, रात को पेरीमीटर फेंसिंग की राउंड करनी है. मैं थोड़ा सा एक स्टोरी आपके सामने, एक सीन आपके सामने क्रिएट करना चाहूंगी. टेम्परेचर -10, 0 से 10 डिग्री नीचे. पहाड़ियां, जैगड माउंटेन्स, एक पेड़ नहीं, चाकू जैसी धार उन पहाड़ियों की. अंधेरी रात, कोई चांद नहीं, और हमें सिक्योरिटी पेरीमीटर की फेंस करनी है. एक बार मन में यह विचार नहीं आया मैं कैसे करूंगी. यह विचार दिमाग में आया ही नहीं. इट वॉज द टाइम टू डू इट, टू जस्ट परफॉर्म द ड्यूटी. So, carmine in one hand, my 1.5-year-old son in another, with a pregnant belly and security guards walking behind me. We did this whole perimeter fencing round. ना ठंड से डर लगा, ना अंधेरे से डर लगा, ना ये लगा कि मेरे शरीर का क्या होगा. क्यों? क्योंकि ये एक एटीट्यूड है. Never say die. जो काम मिला उसे ही अपनी पहचान बनाइए. That is your trademark. That is your X factor. Never lose your X factor. When you stand, people must take inspiration from you. When you talk, people must take nuggets of motivation from you. जिंदगी ऐसे जियो कि बस यही एक मोमेंट है.
Hare Krishna. So when I saw this video, I was thinking that this Mataji, who's serving her nation with so much determination, dedication, can the devotees who are serving all the nations and all the universes and all the planets put together, uske master ko we serve, can we have this kind of determination? Why would we think when we're in these situations that मुझे ये चीज करना है, मुझे ये भी करना है, नहीं आज मैं perimeter fencing करने नहीं जा सकती because मुझे ये भी बाकी है, ये भी. No, when the duty was there that this is the time you have to go out and do this, we have to do this. When she says that when I put on my uniform, I'm a soldier, and I say when we put on our dhotis and kurtas and saris, we are devoted. That's our uniform, literally. When you wear that, when we put this, we feel, and when we see other devotees, it reminds us of Krishna. Why can't we do that? You see, it's so simple. If a soldier can give up and sacrifice their own families and go and stand on the border to fight for the nation, our devotees in the past, 60s and 70s and Srila Prabhupada's disciples and all, that's what they did. They gave up everything to serve Prabhupada. Can we do it? Why are we different than them? The only difference is the desire and the determination. We lack that they had. We can't say that they are all pure devotees. They were not. But it's up to us. It's really up to each individual. If you have that mindset, if we have that mindset, that no matter what, when my time for service comes, devotional service, that is a priority. And I'll plan everything in a way that does not hamper my devotional service. And with Vahi Josh ke saath, with that enthusiasm, we are humble, we want to be humble in Vaishnava, but we want to have this kind of spirit. Prabhupada had this spirit. He was an old man, but look at his spirit. It was 1,000 times like this. Hanuman's spirit was like this. So we can imbibe these qualities. It's never late. And say, you know what? No, I will not give in. And Prabhupada always said, right, we belong to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army. This is Srila Prabhupada's army, and he is the commander-in-chief of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. When that example is given that Prabhupada is the chief commander, we relate to this, the soldiers and an army. So thank you. I hope it was inspiring. It was I was touched by that video, by Radhanath Maharaj's video, and this topic of determination. Hare Krishna.
Raj, one quick thing. Can I have a minute to ask?
Yeah, I have all night.
Okay, thank you. So the enthusiasm is very important, zeal and determination. As a practicing devotees, we see the sometimes spike and sometimes down like roller coaster. Is this because of the problem is is a problem with the genuinity in the enthusiasm. Is that's the root cause of we don't see consistency?
No,
Is
because
that,
our why is not very clear. If our
What-
goal is clear that I want to practice Krishna consciousness, that is very generic. But the why is not clear. Why I want to do this. So if the why is also clear, I want to do this because it says in Bhagavad Gita, this point, this, that, you must surrender. That is not the why. The why has to be more in depth, go very close. Like my why is very clear. My why is very, very clear to me. My why is that I want to please Srila Prabhupada. My why is that Prabhupada wanted me to preach. Like that captain said, मैंने फौज इसके लिए थोड़ी ना join किया था that I'm just going to sit around. I didn't join the army just to sit around. I wanted to go and do the most difficult job, which was in lay. So my why is also very clear. I didn't join this movement. I didn't do Krishna consciousness. I didn't give up my friends and my family time and everything just to sit around and chant 16 rounds. My why is I sacrificed so many things so I can do these things. So that always reminds me that, hey, listen, if I give up at this point, I have lost everything. I've invested so much. Every Friday, I gave for Bhakti Vriksha. I've invested so much. Now I can't look back. I cannot sit back. So, that why is missing, Prabhu. And that why has to be not very generic. It has to be very clear. Oh, my why is I want to please my spiritual master. Then daily we have to read something about the spiritual master. Daily we have to worship the spiritual master. You see, and then that conviction. Then why am I doing this? My why is clear, but then how do I get to that why? It's a plan we have to put together. And then, of course, the most important thing that everybody says, remaining with enthusiastic devotees. Whenever we are down, just plug in ourselves with the devotees who are enthusiastic, and automatically we'll be charged up. Just don't go on the roller coaster. Roller coaster goes up and down. Okay?
just for the
All right. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you all for your kind audience.
So let us all unmute ourselves and thanks Prabhuji with loud Haribol. It
Hare
is such
Krishna.
a powerful
Haribol.
Hare